Four generations, four different money habits. One invisible trap almost nobody sees until it's too late. Boomers believed the bigger house meant they had made it. Gen X found comfort in stability. Safe jobs, safe routines, safe spending. Millennials leaned on debt, convinced future raises would fix today's pressure. Gen Z moves faster than any generation before, upgrading lifestyle the moment income rises. Different eras, different tools, different excuses. But underneath all of it, the same silent mistake keeps repeating. Every generation confuses what looks like progress with what actually creates security. A bigger house looks like success. A newer car feels like proof. A higher salary creates confidence. A better phone, better apartment, better wardrobe, all of it signals movement. But visible upgrades are not the same as financial safety. Real wealth is invisible. It's the money no one sees. The cash buffer. The low stress. The freedom to say no. The ability to survive when life gets expensive. I'm Caesar, and I'm on a mission to take you to financial freedom with simple, straight-to-the-point finance breakdowns. If you enjoy simple money breakdowns like this, subscribe and drop a comment with your generation before we begin. Now let's go back to the 1980s, where Michael looked wealthy long before he was ever financially safe. In the 1980s, in suburban Ohio, Michael looked like the definition of success. He had the corporate management title, a respectable income of $52,000 a year, the kind of salary that made neighbors assume he had life figured out. So he did what many people in his generation were taught to do. He bought the largest house the bank said he could afford, a beautiful place in a prestige neighborhood, fresh furniture in every room, a brand new sedan in the driveway. Every visible sign said one thing: Michael was winning. But behind the image, his money had a weakness no one could see. Almost nothing was left in cash. Every raise had already been assigned. Mortgage payments, car payments, furniture financing, maintenance, property taxes. He looked financially secure, but he had built his life on maximum capacity instead of margin. And then the recession hit. Suddenly, the corporate confidence disappeared. Bonuses slowed. Promotion paths froze. Layoff rumors spread through the office. That was the moment the truth showed itself. Michael had built status before liquidity. He owned symbols of success, but he lacked flexibility. Very little emergency cash. Retirement contributions pushed aside for later. A lifestyle too expensive to breathe inside. Michael looked safe. But the moment the economy tightened, the illusion cracked. That was the boomer mistake. Using debt to buy status before building financial resilience. Now fast forward to late 1990s Seattle. Elizabeth grew up watching financial stress hit her parents hard. So her entire money philosophy became built around one word: stability. She became a mid-level HR manager, earning $68,000 a year, determined to create a life that felt safe. And on the surface, she did. A beautiful home in a good neighborhood. A larger mortgage for long-term security. Private school tuition because it felt responsible. An upgraded SUV because reliability mattered. Every decision sounded logical. Nothing looked reckless. What made the trap so dangerous? Elizabeth didn't chase status the way Michael did. She chased comfort. But comfort can become its own financial prison. Her monthly obligations became fixed and heavy. Mortgage, school fees, insurance, car note, utilities, household upgrades. Her life was stable only as long as the paycheck stayed uninterrupted. Then the company restructured. One job loss. One sudden break in income. And pressure flooded every corner of her life. The problem wasn't overspending in the obvious sense. It was that her lifestyle had no room for uncertainty. The fixed costs became the real enemy. That was the Gen X mistake, confusing comfort with safety. Elizabeth's life looked stable, but stability without margin is still fragile. And this is where the pattern becomes impossible to ignore. Michael used debt to look secure. Elizabeth used fixed comfort to feel secure. Different psychology, same invisible trap. They both built lifestyles that required everything to go perfectly. And then the next generation repeated the same mistake, just with plastic instead of mortgages. By 2006 in Denver, Alicia was doing everything that looked smart on paper. She had a solid salary of $74,000, a promising career path, and something her generation had easier access to than ever before: credit. The banks trusted her. The card limits kept rising. And with every increase, life started to upgrade. A better apartment in a nicer area. Designer purchases that matched her new professional image. A car loan that felt justified by her commute. Weekend trips and frequent travel because she worked hard. None of it felt reckless. Because in Alicia's mind, future was already handled. The promotion was coming. The next raise felt inevitable. Tomorrow's bigger income had already been mentally spent. So the emergency fund stayed small. Cash reserves stayed weak. And lifestyle growth moved faster than real financial security. Then the recession hit. Raises disappeared, promotions froze. Job security suddenly felt uncertain, and the truth became painful. Alicia didn't fail because she lacked income. She failed because she treated expected money like guaranteed money. That's the millennial trap, spending tomorrow's income before tomorrow arrives. The psychology is dangerous because optimism feels productive. But when your future earnings are financing today's lifestyle, one economic shift can turn confidence into crisis overnight. Now we arrive in 2025, in Miami, where the money trap became faster, smoother, and far more invisible. Alex had just landed his first major salary, $98,000 a year. For the first time in his life, he felt like he had truly arrived. And almost instantly, the upgrades began. A luxury apartment with skyline views because it matched the new identity. A $60,000 financed SUV that felt like a reward for hard work. Premium subscriptions across every platform. Daily food delivery because convenience felt affordable. Weekend vacations carefully chosen as much for the experience as the content they would create online. From the outside, Alex looked like the modern success story. Young, ambitious. High earning. Living the dream in real time. But the trap wasn't the income. It was the speed at which every dollar got converted into a permanent expense. Each upgrade felt small on its own. A nicer apartment, a better car, a few subscriptions. Daily conveniences, but stacked together, they quietly turned income into obligation. Very little money flowed consistently into investing. Emergency savings barely grew. Raises never had time to compound into freedom because lifestyle inflation absorbed them first. That's what makes this Gen Z trap so dangerous. The spending is disguised as identity, convenience, living your best life. It feels harmless because the paycheck can still cover it. At least for now. But permanent expenses built on temporary excitement create a lifestyle that becomes expensive to maintain and emotionally hard to downgrade. That's the real psychological mistake, increasing fixed costs in moments of emotional excitement. The problem wasn't that Alex earned too little. Now the pattern is clear. Michael wanted status. Elizabeth wanted comfort. Alicia trusted future raises. Alex upgraded too fast. Different generations. Different psychology triggers. Same financial outcome. They all built lifestyle before resilience. That is the universal money mistake almost every generation inherits without questioning. People focus on looking successful, feeling stable, or rewarding progress before building the one thing that actually creates peace: financial margin. So here's the escape plan. Step 1. Build cash first. Before bigger upgrades, save 3 to 6 months of expenses. Cash is what buys time, confidence, and better decisions when life changes unexpectedly. Step 2. Delay fixed cost upgrades. Pause before increasing rent, car payments, subscriptions, or recurring bills. A delayed upgrade protects future flexibility. Step 3. Invest before lifestyle inflation. Automate investing the moment income hits. Let wealth grow before spending expands. If lifestyle upgrades happen first, investing usually becomes later. Step 4. Buy flexibility, not status. The real flex is not the bigger house, nicer car, or luxury image. It's low stress, strong cash flow, and the freedom to survive setbacks without panic. That's how the cycle finally breaks. Generations change. Technology changes. Culture changes. But the psychology of money mistakes rarely does. The people who win financially are not the ones who earn the most. They're the ones who stop repeating inherited financial behavior. That's where real freedom begins. If this changed how you think about money, subscribe and drop a comment telling me which generation's mistake hit you the hardest. And as you head to the next video, ask yourself one honest question. Are your upgrades building freedom, or just making pressure look successful? The problem was, every raise disappeared before it had a chance to become freedom. And that line matters because it applies to every generation before him too. The tools changed. The speed changed. The psychology never did. Visible upgrades keep stealing invisible wealth. And once you see that pattern, the final lesson becomes impossible to ignore.